Greetings and welcome to Fright Night Flix, where every night is Fright Night. Now that I've finally seen Frankenstein, it's time to do a full ranking of all of Guillermo del Toro's films, from my least favourite to my absolute favourite. Lately I've been doing shorter director ranking videos, but Del Toro is such a beloved filmmaker that I wanted to give his entire filmography a proper deep dive. He's one of my personal favourite directors, not just because of his unique style, but for his obvious passion for storytelling and filmmaking. Every project he touches carries his distinctive imagination and care for detail, and that makes ranking his filmography both exciting and challenging. I've been wanting to do this for years, but I had to catch up with a lot of Guillermo del Toro movies, and I had a lot of other conflicts in my life I had to battle with, so I'm happy to finally be doing this video.
Then let's get started.
Kicking off this list in last place is Guillermo del Toro's 2013 sci-fi action epic, Pacific Rim. I know this might upset many fans, and I understand. On paper, this should be right up my alley. Del Toro directing. Sold. The cast. Sold. The concept. Absolutely sold. Even features a strong female character who in many ways helps shift how female characters are written in genre fiction.
You coconut.
But despite that, the film struggles in key areas. The plot drags in part, the action sometimes feels too artificial, and the performances don't always shine as they should. I will give credit for Ramin Djawadi's excellent score. It's a highlight, but overall, Pacific Rim is heavily overrated in my eyes and stands as my least favourite film from Guillermo del Toro. Up next is Mimic, Del Toro's first English language film. This movie starts strong with an interesting concept and wastes no time getting straight to the point. The imagination is all there, and Dan Laussen's cinematography perfectly captures Del Toro's visual style. I can see why he became Del Toro's go-to cinematographer. Mira Sorvino and Jeremy Northam give solid performances, and F. Murray Abraham is excellent whenever he appears. Unfortunately, the film loses momentum as it progresses, which is a shame given its promising start. It's by no means a bad film, and I can see myself revisiting it for a full review one day, but overall, it's only okay at best. Just missing the top 10 is Del Toro's directorial debut, Chronos. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect going in. Directorial debuts from intricately acclaimed filmmakers can sometimes be hit or miss, but this one lands somewhere in the middle. There's a lot to admire about Chronos. Visually, it's fantastic, with early signs of the gothic beauty and practical craftsmanship that would define Del Toro's later work. You can tell, even at this early stage, that he had a real eye for blending the grotesque with the poetic. The film also features a strong cast, including a young Ron Perlman, who would go on to become one of Del Toro's regular collaborators.
Cool. Yeah. If it ain't broke.
Where it doesn't quite click for me is the story. While the premise, a mysterious device that grants eternal life, has potential, I found it a little hard to get fully invested in the pacing and narrative. Still, as a debut, it's impressive. You can clearly see the filmmaker Del Toro would become, and for that reason alone, it's an essential watch for any fans of his work. Before I dive into my top 10, remember to follow us on social media so you don't miss a single scare. You can follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, or join our Facebook group for your choice in what we do in the channel. It's all completely free, and it's a great way to stay updated on our content. Now, back to the list.
But I want it now!
In 10th place is Del Toro's 2015 gothic romance, Crimson Peak. This is actually the first film on this list I generally like. The aesthetic, tone, production design and cinematography combine to create a breathtaking world, a world you almost want to live in. The cast is fantastic as well, with Mia Wachowski, Tom Hiddleston, Jessica Chastain and Charlie Hunnam all delivering strong performances. The story itself is fine, but oddly enough, I find everything else about the film more compelling. It's by no means a bad watch, but you can't help but want something even greater within the world Del Toro has built. Still, it's a beautifully crafted piece of filmmaking that every Del Toro fan needs to experience. Up next is Del Toro's first sequel, Blade 2. He didn't direct the original Blade and was brought on after the first film's director turned it down. In my opinion, that worked out for the best, because Blade 2 is the superior entry in the Blade trilogy. Del Toro expands the lore and world building beautifully, introduces us to a host of fun new characters and ensembles, a brilliant cast, including Danny John Jules from Red Dwarf, who I've actually met in real life. Sure, the screenplay isn't as strong as the first film, but Del Toro's direction elevates everything, making it the best film in the Blade series. I definitely need to cover this trilogy more in detail in the future to explain why this film absolutely rules. In 8th place is the first Del Toro film I ever watched, Hellboy. Even after 21 years, I still see it as a cult classic. Ron Perlman's performance is iconic, the supporting cast is fantastic, and the storytelling really stands out. You can feel Del Toro's passion for the character and the lore, and his effort to stay true to the original comics is evident. That said, the film does have some flaws. I'm not saying it's badly directed. Del Toro fully immerses you into the world, but it does feel like he was somewhat restricted in how he could adapt the comics. He tried to work with those limits, which means his signature style and creativity don't shine as brightly as in some of his other films.
Gee, that's disappointing.
Still, it's an incredible fun superhero film that I highly recommend. Up next is Nightmare Alley, a film I had high hopes for. It was Del Toro's first project after winning his Oscar, and there's a lot to admire here. Bradley Cooper delivers arguably his career best performance, the supporting ensemble is fantastic, and the film's world feels both lived in and meticulously constructed. Visually, the film stands as a testament to Del Toro's directing. However, my main issue lies with the storytelling. It sometimes feels like it's two films stitched together, with a significant time jump between the halves.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I do enjoy the second half much more. The conflict strengthens and Cate Blanchett's character completely steals the show. The first half, while atmospheric, mostly focuses on carnival life and could have been trimmed down a bit, as it runs quite slow. Still, even with these pacing issues, the story clearly builds towards a strong climax, which absolutely pays off in the end. Just missing the top 5 is Del Toro's third feature film, The Devil's Backbone. The best film I watched for the first time while preparing for this video. This one reminded me a lot of Pan's Labyrinth, but with ghosts instead of monsters. It works well on so many levels, an intriguing story, complex characters, stunning visuals, and great performances across the board. Magnificent! 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 I'm placing it here for now because it feels like one of those films that grows on you with each rewatch. I can see myself revisiting it again, maybe even doing a full review down the line, since it really deserves a deeper dive. Overall, it's a great film, and I can see myself loving it even more with a few more viewings.
I like those odds.
Before I dive into my top 5, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to Fright Night Flix. Also, a lot of you who subscribed failed to come back, and some of you watching aren't subscribed right now, so please make sure you hit that notification to stay updated on upcoming videos. Sorry.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
In 5th place is Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, a sequel that in my opinion improves on its predecessor in every possible way. That's right, Christopher Nolan wasn't the only director to deliver a brilliant superhero sequel in 2008.
What?
Del Toro was famously given far more creative control this time around, and it shows. Not only does Hellboy 2 feel like a stronger continuation of the first film, it feels like a Del Toro movie. The visuals are phenomenal, the expanded world building is fantastic, the cast work perfectly together, and Del Toro's direction is at its absolute best here. If you prefer the first Hellboy, I totally get it. It's more of a traditional superhero film. But for me, Hellboy 2 The Golden Army stands out as a big improvement, fueled by Del Toro's unrestricted imagination and craftsmanship. It's an underrated gem that deserves far more recognition than it gets. In 4th place, just missing out on the top 3, we have Del Toro's most famous film, Pan's Labyrinth. I know I might get some heat for not placing it higher, but I still think it's a beautiful, haunting and deeply imaginative piece of cinema that perfectly showcases why Del Toro is such a special filmmaker. This film feels like Alice in Wonderland after the Spanish Civil War, yet it remains entirely original thanks to its unforgettable monster designs, rich characters and emotional depth. The cinematography, visual effects and production design all work in harmony to bring this dark fairy tale world to life, and the performances are stellar across the board. There's just so much to admire about it.
So beautiful.
The reason it's missing my top 3 is because there are a few stretches where I feel like the pacing drags slightly. It's nothing I actively dislike or would change, it just keeps me from fully loving it the same way others do. Still, Pan's Labyrinth is an extraordinary achievement, and as Del Toro's first real blank check film, it's wonderful that he used that freedom to create something so original and timeless. Before I dive into my top 3, don't forget to comment your ranking on how you'd rank Del Toro's filmography from best to worst, and check out all my past videos, including my videos on both Frankenstein and Nightmare Alley. In fact, comment down below if you want us to review any of Del Toro's flicks in detail that we haven't covered yet. Now, on to the top 3.
Top 3? Top 3.
In third place is Guillermo del Toro's latest creation, Frankenstein, which I was lucky enough to see in cinemas before it hit Netflix. This is one of my most anticipated horror films of the year, and it didn't disappoint. You can feel Del Toro's love for Mary Shelley's story in every frame. It's faithful to the original novel, while still feeling completely fresh. The pacing is strong, shifting seamlessly between the perspectives of the sea captain, Victor Frankenstein and the creature, making it one of the most digestible and engaging adaptations of the tale. Visually, it's breathtaking. The production design, cinematography and costume work are stunning. Every shot feels intentional and alive. Alexander Desplat's gothic and whimsical score complements the world perfectly, and Del Toro's direction balances grandeur with restraints, never feeling pretentious. The performances are top tier, with Oscar Isaac giving one of his best roles as Victor, Mia Goth shining in her dual parts, and Jacob Elordi delivering a powerful turn as a monster, a perfect mix of vulnerability and menace that cements him as the film's emotional core. Overall, Frankenstein stands as a masterful piece of visual storytelling and one of Del Toro's finest achievements. It's beautifully crafted, emotional, powerful, and easily one of the best horror films of 2025. My silver pick goes to Pinocchio, Del Toro's first and so far only animated feature. And honestly, I think it surpasses the Disney version.
You didn't see that coming?
The story of Pinocchio has been told countless times, but Del Toro's vision brings something truly special and deeply personal. His blend of dark fantasy and emotional storytelling gives the film a unique soul that feels distinctly his. The animation is stunning, full of detail and warmth, while the voice acting is top tier across the board. The musical numbers are charming, and the tone balances Del Toro's signature gothic atmosphere with moments of heart and humour. It's not the most faithful adaptation of the classic tale, but it never needs to be. Del Toro's reinterpretation is bold, heartful and visually mesmerising. This was actually my favourite film of 2022 and left me hoping he'd continue exploring animation. Del Toro's often speech about animation being a medium, not a genre, perfectly captures the passion he poured into this film. Pinocchio is a masterpiece that proves animated films can carry just as much emotional weight and artistic power as live-action ones.
Nice.
Taking the top spot and easily my favourite Guillermo del Toro film of all time is his Oscar-winning masterpiece, The Shape of Water. This isn't just my number one because it won Best Picture, it's because I genuinely believe it's the most beautiful story Del Toro has ever told. It's a deeply emotional, poetic film that made me appreciate him even more as a filmmaker and storyteller. The love story at its core is unconventional, yet incredibly heartfelt, showcasing how these two very different beings can form a powerful bond. The production design is stunning, the cinematography is breathtaking, and Alexander Desplat's score perfectly complements the film's tone. The cast is phenomenal. Sally Hawkins delivers one of her best performances of her career, while Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, and Octavia Spencer all shine in their roles. Every technical and emotional element works together seamlessly. What makes The Shape of Water so special to me is its message, that love can exist between anyone, no matter how differently they are. It's romantic, tragic, and hopeful all at once. Even though it only turns violent near the end, it still embodies everything I love about Del Toro's filmmaking, heart, beauty, and imagination. That's why The Shape of Water proudly stands as my favourite Guillermo del Toro film.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Thank you all for watching today's video. Please let me know what Del Toro films you want me to cover in deep for Fright Night Flix one day, and join me next time when I talk about a certain Netflix show about a famous serial killer. But until then, keep the chills alive, and as always, stay spooky.